Hello, happy Thursday. It is Friday Eve. Friday Eve. Hey, I've been listening to Boys to Men Mama. I can't sing. Mama, I love you. That's about all you're going to get from me. But I just love that song because, mamas are just real special. And that's what we're talking about today on Insights with Latrese. Welcome. Thank you for coming. Thank you for joining me once again today. Please share this. Let people know I'm on so that they can get some of this yummy information and some good conversation that we need, especially now with everything going on. But we're going to talk about moms, motherhood, layers of motherhood, all that good stuff with one of my sisters. I call her my sister friend. But before that, something was really on my mind and on my heart today. And, I'm not going to go real deep into it, but pray for Maud Aubrey's family because that's just hard. That's just deep. It is, I mean, anytime things like this happen, especially for people of color, oh, it hurts right here. And, I can't go jogging for real. And, you try not to read the comments and, all these different opinions. But of course, I saw where some people were blaming him for resisting whatever. Here's the bottom line. His birthday's tomorrow. Mother's Day is Sunday. His family has lost a brother, a son. I don't know if he was a father. And so it's just devastating, right? We got to love each other. We got to be okay with the color of our skin and our differences, right? That's what makes us so yummy and unique and so good. So I just ask that you pray for that family, and just love. When you see someone different, be okay with it. It is okay. God made us all. We all bleed the same. We're just human beings. And so that has just really just been heavy, heavy, heavy on my heart today. So I saw an interview with her as a mother myself. I lost my oldest daughter, not to death like she did, but just losing a child in general. That's a whole nother level of trauma, of grief, that you can't even explain. And so to lose a son the way she did, oh gosh, it's just horrible. So yeah, so I just had to get that off of me, but I'm good. We're working through it. We're working through it. Well, as I told you, and as you saw in my graphics, we are talking about motherhood, and let me tell you, motherhood is no punk. It is some hard work, but I can say it's very rewarding. It is something that I never ever expected to be. It was a mother. Growing up, I never thought I wanted to have children. And I have five of them. So, which is very interesting in itself. But it is such a blessing. It's hard work. There's no manual. So it's almost like trial and error, especially with that first one. But then there's a groove that you finally get. You finally, like, okay, this works. And then boom, they become adults. And then that's a whole nother level of understanding. And so, to all you mothers out there, I salute you. Happy Mother's Day. And you don't have to actually have had a child to be a mother. Your love, your instinct, your wisdom brings on that motherhood, right? So just know that as well. So, speaking of mothers, I have a mother who rocks. But before we get into her being a mother, I had to write this down. Now, this lady I grew up with in Tonganoxie. We're Tonganoxie country girls, actress, TV host, model, Miss Teen USA, winner of Survivor, Guatemala. um, businesswoman. She's a friend, she's a sister, daughter, wife, and mother. And let me just tell you, she is the wife of one of my best friends, and I've made him be my best friend. He fights it, but he loves me. I'm just going to put that out there. Yes, I said it, and I'll fight you for it. Yes. Anyway, let me bring in Danny Boatwright. Hey,
Hi.
Danny. How are you?
Good. I love it when you say she is married to my best friend.
Yeah.
That is right. And I'm telling you what, you text him and you call
Oh,
him and you've made and he needs that because otherwise he's Mr. Quiet, right? So you're the
yes.
one to pull him out of his shell, man. I'm like, I need to learn from you.
He is so hilarious because we were downstairs in your house. You had left. You had went upstairs for something, and you could tell he was just looking because I was just. And he was just looking like through me, like, "Oh my gosh, what is really happening?
I
What is
love it. It's
going
good for
on?"
him. It's so funny, but we'll get a lot of people asking, like, where is your husband on Instagram? Where is he on Facebook? Like, he doesn't want to be on there, people. You don't understand. That is not for him. So,
It's not. It's
yeah.
not. He lets you out there, and he's comfortable being in the background, right, and
Yep.
supporting you and the boys.
Yep. And, that was my stepdad with my mom.
Yes,
Same way.
absolutely,
Mr. Quiet, like, he
absolutely.
was so supportive of her and letting her just run and gun.
And shine, right. And the thing is, we typically marry our dad,
Yeah.
right? To a degree.
100%.
Yeah,
100%. And that's exactly what I did. Yep. It's
absolutely.
sometimes it's nice because he's such a rock, but sometimes I'm like, okay, come on, let's go to a 12 o'clock movie, right? Like
Right. Give me something.
spontaneous,
Give,
buddy. Come on. Good for
give
me.
me something. But, it's interesting because you really marry also the opposite of you because people think I'm so spontaneous and I'm not. Olivier is.
Wow.
I want to organize everything. So if you say to me, Latrese, let's go to a 12 o'clock movie, I'm going to say, did we plan it?
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah. No, but poor Casey. I mean, really, he did not. I mean, it's not just the opposite, right? I am like just
The extreme.
gone. Poor guy. I do feel sorry for him. Trust me.
But you know what? We learned from you. I learned from Olivier how to be flexible, how to be more open, right? So that some opportunities don't just pass us by because we're so rigid in
Right.
what we think and how we operate. So you guys are a blessing to us, whether we admit it or not.
Right. That's good. Yeah.
So
Just have
let's
to
talk
believe it.
about it. You are a mother, and I've watched you, be someone who had no kids and having two boys who are amazing. They're my buddies. Um, is motherhood hard for you? Let's just start there.
Oh my gosh. Motherhood from the time you're giving birth, like I said, natural childbirth was that's the hardest thing I've ever gone through, the most painful thing I've ever gone through. It was just the beginning. You see all these moms on Instagram, or you see people who've got Instagram down, right? Like they're the influencers. They know how to take the pictures and do all this stuff. Kudos to them.
Yes.
But that's not real. I mean, let's be
That's
honest.
not reality.
One day we took a picture with our outdoor table set up just for fun. And I'm like, this was one, way too much work. And two, way too much to clean up afterwards, and not real. We're usually eating on paper plates with, fish sticks and applesauce, and hopefully everybody's dressed appropriately when they come to the table. I mean, that's us, and that's real. Motherhood, like you said earlier, I think every woman would agree is rewarding, but it is so difficult. It is by far the hardest challenge. Survivor has nothing on motherhood. Nothing. And, on Mother's Day, I think about, I have such a wonderful mom that I've been blessed with. And I have my two boys that I'm the mother of. But I really and truly, it weighs heavily on my heart for those moms who have lost their mom, or maybe lost a child. And I think about how it might be kind of a painful holiday for them. So I always take time to reflect on that and pray for those. And I have some friends who are in that, in those circumstances, that situation. And have to remember that too. But hopefully in the midst of that, you can always find that time to celebrate, though. having a mom or, being able to be a mom.
Absolutely. And I agree with you. That is a day where I reach out to people who have lost their moms or, want to be a mom and just say, hey, you okay? Love you.
Right.
Something of that nature, or I'll send a gift, right? Because sometimes, like you said, that day can be special for me, but can be, my friend next door could just be very challenged because of something that she has gone through or is going through.
Yes.
And you said something else. You mentioned the fact that, these Instagram moms and it looks so perfect and all that. Why do you think moms compare themselves to other moms? We know it's hard. We know that we have our own dynamic. Why does that happen? Like, I feel like, if I'm not doing what Danny's doing, then I'm just not a good mom. So I get it.
You gotta, wasn't it Zig Ziglar who said you gotta eliminate that stinking thinking, right?
Yeah.
Because we
Yeah.
all have our different style, we have our different flair, and just remember we're all great, and not to compare ourselves. And I think we just do that in society, and we just need to stop that. You don't have to, you have to embrace your talents, just like, God's given each one of us our special skills and special talents. And there's some moms that I love that I'm such good friends with. I'm like, I don't, you got me on that one. And that's great. And I'm going to try to learn from you to maybe make myself better in that situation. But I have my skills and my talents that are great. And I'm just going to embrace those, develop those. And then I really try to teach my kids, listen, mom is not perfect. I think they expect us to. So when we mess up, they're like, oh, and you're like, no, mom's not perfect. Now I'm going to try to be the best mom for you that I can be, but I'm not perfect. And moms just really have to embrace that and understand it's okay not to be perfect, and don't compare yourself. There are days I feel like, man, I'm on top of the game. And then there's the other ones. And most of the time it's the other ones where I'm like, oh, I failed miserably. But I don't know. We just got to take that deep breath. And man, wherever your weaknesses are, that's where you rely on your girlfriend, your friend, man, who's your pillar, to step in and help you in those areas. But have fun looking at Instagram, man. I like since I've been a model and I know the time it takes for hair and makeup. I love to look at Instagram and go, oh, sweetheart, man, you spent half the day. You spent half the day trying to look like that. And I was having fun while you were trying to look like that.
Absolutely. And I think I love what you said about learn from others. You don't have to compare. That's what the village is.
Yes.
The village helps you raise your children. We have to have that community. It's so important, and especially nowadays. What kind of mom are you though, Danni? What would you describe yourself?
Oh, I'm 100% the Disneyland mom. I mean, I'm fun. I'm so much fun. It's like, well,
but do you discipline?
Oh, yes. Yeah, absolutely. I'm someone truly who can forget and get over things easily. And so sometimes I have to not be that way with my kids and make sure and stick to the discipline, and not rely on my husband. He definitely is the disciplinarian. I mean, the rule follower, which is great. And sometimes that's where we can, kind of butt heads. But I love that about him. And so, no, definitely, because as a parent, you hear this time and time again, you can't be their best friend. You're not you can be their friend, absolutely. But you've got to be the parent first. Yeah. And no, definitely that. But we also make sure, my whole motto in life is like to wrap your arms around life and squeeze as much out of it as you possibly can.
Wow.
And so I try to do that with my kids every day, and there's definitely days that are tough, right? But to try to find the positive in it and enjoy it as much as possible.
Absolutely. You talked about, you being, the Disney mom, but let's just talk about your mom for a moment. And let's even talk about your grandma who is, gone home to be with the Lord. Let me just tell you, these 3 generations are the best. You guys are so awesome. What is it about your mom that you just admire? I mean, I can give you a list of things because she was my teacher and I call her Mom Vicky now, but what do you admire about her?
Well, I see my mom was someone who was always encouraging to think outside the box. You know, we were raised in Tonganoxie, small town Kansas, which was a great place to be from and to live now. It's incredible. Tonganoxie is a wonderful community. But my mom also wanted to teach me there's a great big world out there, and don't be afraid to step outside that box and embrace all different cultures, all different religions, all different types. Because like you were saying earlier, love your neighbor, man. They may not think the way you think. They may not look the way you or believe the way you, and it doesn't matter. You love them. You're there for them. And she just taught us to go out there and just conquer that big old world. And, I did. I got to travel all over the world as an international model, and may not have done that and been fearful if it hadn't been for her. She is a fearless mama, and when she sets her goals, she goes 100% for it. Nothing's going to stop her. And she makes it happen. And she's the most honest person. She's fair. But I tell you what, if you cross her wrong or somebody that she loves as her circle, she's going to let you know. She's going to let you know you didn't do right. And I like that for her. I like that about her, because you truly know not just her children, but her friends and the rest of the family, that she has your back. And she's a tough cookie.
She's a mama bear now. Yeah. Listen,
100%.
Not. I'm warning you now. You better not.
No.
You two have. It's definitely a respect and honor. I mean, that is, mom. But you also have a friendship. How did that happen?
That's the thing where I try to have that balance with my kids, like my mom did, because we really are best friends. But growing up, man, she was a disciplinarian. I mean, these are the rules. We follow them. If we don't, there were consequences, and I respected that. And I think because of that, I had so much respect for her, and it kept me in line. It kept me walking that straight line. Not to say I was a perfect kid, but it might be a little loud in my house right now. Sorry, they're playing games downstairs. That's what I know.
Hey, I love it. It's real.
She was, like I said, she was a lot of fun. But she was definitely a disciplinarian, and I like that she was able to have the balance of the two. And now we are definitely best friends. Yeah. But if she sees me making not a bad choice, but maybe something she could correct me on with parenting, like with my kids, and she'll let me know. And she knows that I'll listen. She may not think I do sometimes, but I do.
Okay. So how does she approach you? Because you are grown with your own family. So how now at this point does she approach you to say, hey sis, I'm pulling your coattail?
Well, I think I might be a little bit of an unusual case, because I was raised with so many brothers, but I'm not sensitive. So you can shoot straight to me. And my mom does that. She'll just literally say it like it is, call it out, doesn't sugarcoat it. And is very blunt and forward with me on whatever it is that she needs to address. And I like that. I definitely like that approach. And she, let me know. And she, will follow up on things too. And and she texts those grandboys. Let me tell you, those grandsons, she texts and makes sure and encourages them, and also makes sure that I'm doing what I'm supposed to do.
Okay. So you have that accountability partner.
Yep. And I'll tell you the other thing about Vicky, I always felt like I could tell her anything. Anything. If I was struggling with something, or there was maybe a bad choice I made, I feel like I could go back and tell her and be honest with everything. And I think sometimes as parents, we don't really probably have that relationship with our kids, and it's so important. And I'm trying now that my oldest son is a preteen, and we've hit on some topics that are very important. And I love that he feels like he can come and tell me anything. And I love that. And I want to keep that open and honest. You ask me, I'm going to tell you, buddy. I want to have that relationship. It's important.
So how would you suggest that transpire to mothers that are watching right now or listening? How do you create that environment so that, because, these kids nowadays, because it's a little harder to raise kids now because of everything that they are, that they have access to. So how do you create that environment now where you're not thrown off, but you still can be that, sounding board to them? And, because they may come and say, Mom, I want to have sex.
Right. Well, hold on. Yeah. Well, and you're going to be thrown off. That's going to happen. So
Yeah.
some of the questions that I received were literally right before we're going shopping at the grocery store, right? And you're in the parking lot. And you're like, okay, now this parking lot conversation has turned into an hour.
Yes.
um,
Yes.
but for me, like, because my mom was very open, I learned from her, so it wasn't uncomfortable for me, right? So it was
Okay.
just kind of natural just to talk and be open and communicate. Some people aren't great communicators, and I think there's books, or there's a pastor, or there's a leader, in your church that you can reach out to talk to make sure, they can hold you accountable and make sure that you are going about it with the right approach. But I think it's with my son, because he's told me things before, little things that that he doesn't want anybody else to know. And so I haven't told anybody else. And we build that trust and relationship. They're now grown more and more to where he feels like he can ask me more. And I think so as a parent, man, be that sounding board for them and let them really create that space of trust. So they know that it's not going to go anywhere else. I can literally talk to you about this, and you have my back on it, and that you're going to give me the right information. But you may not feel completely comfortable with it, but there could be a pillar that in your child's life that would feel comfortable talking, that you would trust to give the right information, and you could maybe encourage that conversation to happen organically, right? And that's the one thing I really want to do, is be a pillar for some of my friends, kids, or daughters that may want to ask some questions that maybe that they don't want to ask their mom, or maybe their mom doesn't feel comfortable asking those, that they could come ask me. But I think really true. It's just developing that trust. So important.
Absolutely. And I think if I could just piggyback on that, also not being judgmental, because
absolutely,
because there's a lot that they're dealing with, they're facing. So it's it's okay. It's okay that they're coming to us because they're trying to figure out what's the right thing. So it's best if we talk to them in a loving, kind way, right? Tell the truth. You can tell the truth in love without attacking them, because you don't want to break their spirit, and you don't want to break their trust that they can be vulnerable with you. And so I think that's very important, and if you aren't equipped, I think, Danny, sometimes as mothers, we think we have to be these super moms that know everything, that do everything. If I am not strong in this area, like you said, let me get my village, let me get my community, pick someone out to help with this, because I'm just not equipped. But we have to first be okay with that personally. Do you agree?
Right. Absolutely. And man, you are spot on about not being judgmental, like literally just in life in general. Okay. Because it just creates so many problems.
Yes.
And because your child is a unique creation, although you see a lot of yourself or your husband in that child, they're unique, and they're going to think different. And I want them to have their own thoughts, their own opinions, and stand on their own 2 feet, and know that we can also, have different views on things, and still we're going to be friends. We're going to love each other and keep, moving on. But to know that it's okay for them to have those opinions, like you said, because if you immediately attack it, then you've shut that wall of communication. You build up a wall, and there's no communication there. Yep.
Absolutely. And now with 2 of my daughters that are in adulthood, it's more important when they kind of do their own thing, and maybe not necessarily what you've told them to do, that you still have to love and support and watch them walk it out, right? And it's not always easy as a parent, because you still want to be in that same level when they were little, and you would kind of support them as they walk when they were learning to walk. But it's not the same season, and you have to trust God that whatever you put in them will return and come out.
Exactly. You said something there. So you have a couple that are in adulthood. My oldest is a preteen. So just know that in a few years, I'm going to be calling you up.
Well, you know what? I'm telling you, I told Olivier he really needs to write a book on parenting, because if it was just me, I would probably have an F. But
whatever.
But I'm telling you, just the way he thinks and process things with girls, because you would think maybe a boy, but with girls, and I just be like, man, if I could grow up and be like you, Olivier.
He is a saint. We all talk about that all the time.
Yes, he is. I
You
keep
got a
saying
good
he's
one.
baby Jesus from Congo. You
Yeah.
know, he's just it.
Jackpot
Hey
there.
guys, if you're listening or watching, please, if you have a question for Danni, please write it down so that I can ask her. She would love to answer any of your questions. Of course, our time is getting away from us. So let me just ask you this, Danni.
Uh-oh, I'm nervous.
I'm not gonna make
Ask me
no.
anything.
I'm looking. Wait a minute. I have all these questions, and I'm like, no, no. Let because it'll take us a whole nother hour. But if you had one thing that you said, man, I do this right, like as a mom, like this is the bomb. I could be the poster child for mothers. What is that? What is that one thing?
Ah, man, I'm going to say the one thing is, just like my mom, I think, is teaching those kids, man, to embrace life and embrace all different kinds of people and diversity, because I think that is the one key to really make you successful in life, and teaching them to be compassionate and to give back. It is not all about you in life, okay? It's about your neighbor, and making sure that where much is given, much is required. Like you've been blessed with a lot. Now you got to give back with that. And I think that's probably the thing that I preach it every day. Yeah. And and I make sure to, and we pray. We're reading our devotions and keeping our faith first. Because that's the real key to being successful in, I believe, that area of being compassionate and giving back and loving your neighbor.
Absolutely. And I see that. You don't just say it, you live that, you and your family. And so I definitely see that. What's happening with Danni? What are some new things that are, can you talk? Can you share? We won't tell nobody.
Yeah, right. Wow. So Survivor is going to wrap up next week, right? And I'm hoping we can get together and talk some more, because there's a lot of interesting things that are getting ready to transpire. And I'm very excited about my own youth ministry, along with my friend Leanna Uniac, and maybe another special guest that will be a part of that. And man, getting to now be a pillar in young people's lives. I had some amazing women. I don't know if you remember Debbie Tice back in Tonganoxie. So Tim was the janitor at our school. His sister was Debbie, and she was at our church, at the Christian church in Tongi. She was such a pillar in my life. I could go on and on about how Debbie was such an amazing pillar in my life. And this last time that I was on Survivor, the greatest moment and the greatest gift that I got out of this season was, there was one particular time I walked out when the sun was about to set, and I was sitting on this rock, and all of a sudden it just like hit me. You know what? It's time to pass that torch on and be a pillar in some other girl's life, not just one, hopefully a whole bunch. And so when I came back, we started this ministry, and we're ready to launch right when Survivor's done. And I'm ready to go full force, man, and like create this whole like Survivor experience for young people. And man, just make them great, and to realize, listen, this is one of the biggest things. All of us ladies, we are not competition with each other, right? We're supposed to encourage each other and help build each other up. And I want to teach this to this young community of girls, that, man, if we can really empower one another, how amazing a difference that's going to make an impact. So that's what we're all about, and I can't wait.
Oh, that sounds awesome. I think it's going to be great. And it is our duty to do that, to serve others. You said, and it's the word of God, to whom much is given, much is required, right?
Yes.
And so we have to know, God has to know, and that he can trust us, right? And so we have to serve others. We have to give back in all different types of ways. And so we definitely will have you back so that we can get more information. But if they just want to follow you now, they can find you on just Danni Boatwright, right?
Yep, Instagram, Facebook, and then we'll be making all that big announcement live and getting ready to go full force. And oh my gosh, have so much fun this summer. I can't wait. We're really looking forward to getting going with everything.
This is going to be good. It's going to be epic. So with that said, I am not going to hold you, but I need to ask you one last thing. If you, why do you always say that? I promise. I'm not going to stump you. I promise. But if you could give one last insight to a mother, because I know sometimes mothers are like, listen, this is hard, or they feel like they're the only one, or they feel like a failure because of that competition. They're looking at everyone else, with a happy home or whatever. What encouragement can you give that mother?
Oh man, I'm going to tell you what, no matter what walk of life all of us mothers have come from, right? We all experience times where we feel defeated, we feel discouraged. Man, I had like a couple of weeks in a row where I was just like calling mom all the time. Mom, come on, I need you to build me up. I'm so down. So you're not the only one, right? Like we've all been there. And whenever you feel down and discouraged, man, like you said, reach out to your village, reach out to your friends that are going to build you up and be that pillar to help you get through that point. Okay. Because that's just the enemy wanting to attack you. And they feel like you're defeated, but we are all, have a calling on our life, and just remember that. And like I said, those pillars help you get through that tough time. And again, I know you hear it all the time. Do not compare yourself to what you see on Instagram, because Latrese, it's like when I was a model and I'm going, wow, when I see a picture of myself when it's done, that isn't at all what I look like. It's airbrushed, it's touched up, it's this image people try to buy into. You can't compare yourself to that, right? We all have our flaws. Embrace those flaws, right? Yes. And understand we all have gifts and talents that God's given us specifically. I can't talk. And remember to rely on that village to help you get through those tough times, man, because there's something great on that other side. And just don't ever give up. And man, sometimes just take a nap and have a latte and you'll be good to go. Take the time to refresh. And it's okay. Take time for yourself. Those kids are important, but you got to take care of mama.
Oh my gosh. You hit it right there. In order for us to take care of everyone else, we first got to take care of ourselves. And that's not selfish. It's so wise. And we weren't taught that. We taught that we just drag it out. We just do whatever for everyone and not have anything for us. And then we became bitter and angry and frustrated. But if the self-care is first, the abundance will flow to my family.
It's okay to say no. That's something I've struggled with.
Honey, that's a whole sentence. No.
Yep.
And that's it. And my kids and husband know when I say no, that's it. I don't have to explain. I don't have to, make it pretty. No, that's a whole sentence.
Just say no.
It's an action word. Well, Danni, I just appreciate you for coming on and talking to the mothers and just talking to everyone. I love that you're so honest, so transparent, because you are who you are. You're amazing. And you have had a lot of opportunities, but what I love is your heart. Your heart is just so pure and such a giver and such a lover, and I understand why God just keeps blessing you and blessing you and blessing you, because he can trust you because you love his people and you serve his people with humility and truth. And so I'm thankful to be a part of your village.
Thank you. And likewise, I love you. I can't wait to see what the future holds.
All right, sweetheart. Well, thank you for everything, and we'll talk soon.
Absolutely. Bye. Love you. Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day to you. I'm going to call Casey.
Okay. Bye.
Bye, baby. Oh my gosh, I just love her. She is absolutely amazing. She is truly a sister friend. Just absolutely amazing. Her heart is pure. Her family. I mean, I've intertwined myself in the family. The girls, they think that's Auntie Danny, and so it's all good and it's beautiful. But let me leave you with this insight. Hey, I'm sorry, guys. I was so into the show, I didn't say hi. Let me say hi, Katrina, Zaza, MG, Daphne, Tammy. Please forgive me if I'm not saying it right. Hosea. I know this name. Please, please charge it to my head and not my heart. Please. Reese, hey, friend. Olivia, hey now, hey. Leanna, hi, sweet pea. Hi, guys. Hey, Janice. Okay, my system. I'm sorry. Sorry, I promise I'll say hi to everybody once we get done. My phone just kind of did its own thing. Let me just say this. My insight is this. I'm just going to kind of piggyback off of Danny that as a mother, we don't come with a manual. But the one thing God has equipped us, we're well able. He has trusted us. He's put it on the inside of us. We just have to trust us. We have to trust ourselves, right? That doesn't mean we're going to get it right all the time. Doesn't mean we're going to be perfect, and we don't need to be perfect. We just have to be willing. We just have to show up. We just have to show up and say, you know what? I'm going to do the best I can. And that's what's important as a mother. Mother Motherhood is a blessing, but it's hard. Listen, it is very hard, but you're well able. So if you're frustrated, if you're feeling some type of way, reach out to me, reach out to whoever you trust, and don't try and know everything. I don't. I Listen. I got five of them people living in my life, and I don't. There's things that I've just never experienced before. And so I don't hesitate to do some calling. Hey, I even had to talk to Mom Vicky. We had lunch one day and I was just like, listen, help a sister out. Okay. And it's okay. You don't have to, you don't have to be Wonder Woman, Superwoman, any of that. You just have to be the woman that God has created you to be and the mother that God has called you to be. You are born to be great. You're well able. You can do this. God trusts you with his gifts and you can make it all happen. Don't stress out. Have some self-care. My kids know when I give that look, that means self care for me. It's not selfish, it's selfless because it allows you to fill yourself back up so you can give to them. So, I just want to say one last thing. I have to just honor my mother, Ella Jean Marshall. Y'all know her, she's a mess. And I love every piece of her. She is, oh, she's hilarious. She's a blessing. I don't even want to cry. Why am I getting ready to cry? I am blessed to have her. She is such an amazing mom, an amazing woman. She helped me be who I am as a mother, and I'm so grateful for her. I gave her a run for her money. Listen, and if she could have probably thrown me back, she would have, but she couldn't. And so she just endured. And but she's seeing the fruit of her labor now. She's seeing that all five of her girls serve and love God because she stood and she wasn't perfect, but she was a woman of God who prayed, who spoke the word of God over us, who took us to church, and put life in us. And so I just want to honor my mother. I honor every mother watching. God bless you all. Please do something for your mom. If it's nothing but a text message saying I love you, and she may not be the best mom, but you know what? She kept you living, you breathing, you here. And maybe this will allow you guys to reconcile some things. And so God bless you. God bless my mom. They're cutting me off. I love you, Ella Jean. Love you, love you. Love you guys. Thank you. I'll see you next Tuesday. Have a great weekend. God bless.